And welcome back, everyone. So, me and my girlfriend are but about last week, finished out 14's 3 specials. The 14th Doctor's 3 specials. And we're currently now on Shooties. And, I mean, we're already on to episode 2, so I can actually do the percentage. We're a tenth of the way through Shooting series. And then, my God, we'll be completely caught up with Doctor Who at that point. That's wild to think about, given where because we started 9 and then went to all 10s, 11s, 12. Like we went through it all, and here we are. But as I've been doing, we're gonna rank the 3 Doctor Who specials for the 14th Doctor, Tennant's Return. Now, because there are only 3, it's not going to be a tier list. There's no real point of doing that, I think. I'm just going to spend a lot of time talking about all of them, and then you're going to be like, here, here, here. I will put it up right now, though. I think one of these is a top tier, like peak Who episode. The others are, one is a great Who episode after that, and the other is a good Who episode. I think that is the order I put him in. I ultimately did, but my general thoughts on Tennant's second run, this is the 14th. It's too short. I do think I'm not saying it needed to be a full season, but I could have dealt with like 5. I could have done with like 5 specials. I think that could have worked out really nice. It would have actually given us more time with the Doctor and Donna, just to have a couple of extra adventures leading up to the giggle. I think that would have worked. I think that would have worked fine. You wouldn't have to break the bank or anything like that. Plus, at the time, it was Disney. You had the money. So, with all that said, I don't think everything is perfect in any of these. Hell, even in some of the best episodes, there's problems I can find. I do think there's some occasional problems that we'll talk about. But overall, we both really liked all the Tennant's run as the Doctor a second time around. So, my list is probably going to look like a lot of people's lists, just because there's only 3 of them. The more episodes you have in something, the less likely a list is going to look the same. But anyway, coming in at our bottom of the 3, I think the weakest episode is the Star Beast. Now, this is not to say that the Star Beast, I think, is bad. In fact, I've heard a lot of people say Star Beast is their least favorite one. While I agree it's my least favorite, I do not think it's a bad episode of Doctor Who. It reestablishes Tennant's 10th Doctor, him re-meeting with Donna and meeting her family, the introduction of the Meep, and then dealing with Donna getting her memories back, the Dr. Donna returning and what that can mean, and ultimately how it's resolved. So what do I ultimately like about this? Well, quite a bit. Right out the gate, I think the Meep is an adorable little monster. And thanks to the internet, I had been spoiled on the fact this thing was actually the bad guy. But it is an adorable creature. Like, this is a mix of like Furby meets Yoda, but with a little cat face. But the fact is, they did a great job on the makeup work on it. It's a it's a practical and CGI character, and they really blended. They did a great job on that. I also like the fact that when it goes psychotic, like it just goes all wacky and wonky. But if you don't know that it's the bad guy, my girlfriend was kind of thinking, like, wait, maybe it's the bad guy? I don't know. And then Jared's like, it's the bad guy. This is fun. I'll also say this. I think Tennant and what is Donna's actress? Is it Kate? Hold on. Donna Noble. Why am I blanking her name real quick? Donna Noble. Why am I blanking on? Donna Noble is played by Catherine Tate. That's what I was combining her last name and her first name. Catherine and Tate. It's Kate. Catherine Tate. These two haven't missed a beat. In every 1 of these specials, these two are... the chemistry is right back again. Like, it never left. 100%. It's great to see Donna. And I love the fact... We'll get into it a bit more. But I love the fact that they truly do have a brother-sister relationship. Well, I am actually not someone who's against the Doctor having some more romantic interests at a couple of his parts. Like, I'm someone who actually does like the Rose-Tennant relationship. I do. Obviously, him and River are classic. I will admit, I don't love what they did to Martha, making her pine for the doctor, but I like what it does for her character down the road. And I do. I like the idea that, and I like the fact that Clara had a thing for 11, and that goes away afterwards. So I do like that. But these two are fantastic. Their banter is on point, absolute, and their banter is on point. Their wit, their charm. It just feels like you're back in Ten's era. I think that was series 4, right? Series 4. Mm. So it just feels like you're back. You snap back to reality. Whoops, there goes gravity. Um, Also, the sonic screwdriver. I like the fact that he added new additions to the sonic screwdriver. What I don't like the fact is we don't see it ever again. As far as I know, maybe Shooties does some of the, but the 3D printing energy stuff, that I love that aspect of it. Why the hell didn't we see more of that? But to be fair, the Star Beast is kind of the only episode that we can actually see this screwdriver being used. What I mean by that is it's the only episode that makes sense for the screwdriver to be used, because he loses it in Wild Blue Yonder. That's one of the reasons they're stuck on the ship. That's the main reason they're stuck on the ship. And then what the hell is the sonic screwdriver going to do against the Toymaker? So that doesn't bother me at all. But if there is one thing I will say, I think they fumbled a bit. It is the Rose thing. Now, don't misinterpret me. I hate the term woke. I think the term forced or heavy-handed is a better terminology, because woke just makes it seem like it just sounds like whiny babies complaining about something that should be represented anyway, so long as it's done properly. And I have no problem with the fact that Donna has a trans child, I believe. I'm going to get to that in a little bit, because I was watching another YouTuber and they made the same observation I did. But I like the fact that she has a trans kid, because trans people exist, so deal with that. But moving beyond that, in the Doctor Who universe, it would make sense. The Doctor literally regenerated into a woman and back into a guy, so why not have a trans character on the show in some capacity? And the people said like the dialogue gets forced with this character and the messaging around it. I'm like, only near the end do I feel that's the case. When talking about when they're like saying, like, oh, what we're gonna do about all that excess energy, it's still gonna kill, it's just gonna slow down. It's like, we have an idea that something single gendered male Time Lord wouldn't have thought. I'm like, okay, now you're starting to shove it down our throats a little bit. But honestly, Rose saying, asking the 14th, is like, well, why do you assume it's a she or a he? Or was like, and he goes, oh, good point. There's nothing wrong with that, because I think Rose is supposed to be trans male transitioning to a woman, if I'm not mistaken. She's completely right on that. Like, you don't know it's a guy or girl. You need, and to be fair, with all the species, hell, he's met either single sex species, multi-sex species, or non-sex species in his entire run. So, yeah, making that assumption actually would be something the Doctor would go, oh, I'm sorry, And I do like that little joke afterwards, like, Meep identifies as Meep. Yeah, I like to do that too. Like, I like that joke. But beyond that, there's this lovely little, it's like a short scene between Donna and her mother, where Donna's mother uses the term he, and she goes, I'm sorry, I'm still adjusting, I occasionally make a mistake. It's like, and then Donna just goes, no, I understand. Like, and I never realized I could be blessed with this beautiful daughter and all that. Like, I love the fact that it actually is kind of a real world scenario where if you've had a child who's identified as something or who is at least presented and identified and gone by a certain gender, sex their whole life, and then transitions to something, it would take you it would be a step to constantly transition into the next thing. You would need a minute to do that, and you might make a mistake. But so long as they understand that you're just that it's just what you've been used to, and you're just trying to do what's right by them, that's great. Where I'm gonna get into not even a complaint. Well, maybe not. Complaint's not the right word. where I'm going to just critique is I think, because again, correct me if I'm wrong on this, any LGBTQ or just anyone who knows, I believe Rose is supposed to be transgender, correct? But they're talking about binary, non-binary at the end when the Dr. Donna passing it on, the meta crisis to Rose. They talk about non-binary. I'm like, wait, no, isn't. They make a lot of points in saying, like, those two kids coming up the street call her Jason, which is clearly who she was prior to transition. And then Donna's mom also makes the mistake of saying he instead of she. So by all accounts, I'm pretty certain she's supposed to be trans. Do the writers not know the difference between, and I don't want to speak for the entire, non-binary and trans community here, but, so correct me if I'm not trying to start anything here. I'm just going by my understanding of it. I do not believe non-binary and trans are the same thing. So when we got to that, I'm like, I'm a little confused here. Where are we on this? And then at the end of the giggle, 14 refers to her as his niece. So I'm in the confused realm here. Again, it doesn't ruin the episode or anything. I just think the writing team was a little not sure about what this meant. I mean, I get the idea that maybe by using the binary and non-binary, they're talking about binary and non-binary, I don't know, because there's two of them. So technically speaking, binary can mean two things, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't mean that it means two things. I mean, literally, binary means like split down. Like a bident is a two-pronged, that's what I mean. Bisexual means you are attracted to men and women. A binary means one or the other, essentially. So the fact there's two of them, that's why they bring it up. But then Rose makes the comment about being more, or none and more, or something like that. And I feel like this is where I feel like the try too hard's coming just a little bit. But look, I'm not saying this to start shit, so please be kind if you have any critique against that. I'm really not saying that. I'm just, from my perspective, I'm just trying to personally understand it. But with all that said, I still think it's actually a very fun episode. We don't get a lot of what this Doctor is like beyond Tennant playing him again, but we do, I think, ultimately get those kind of answers in the second and third special. And I'll talk more about that when I actually do a New Who Doctor ranking video, because right now we're on the 15th, we're on Shooty, and after that, we're done until, Doctor Who actually comes back, which will be weird, because me and my girlfriend will actually be able to watch Doctor Who when it airs. It's so weird. But anyway, I digress. Coming in then as the second best of the 14th specials, we got The Giggle. And The Giggle, I'm going to get the things I don't like about The Giggle out of the way first. Because there are some things that I don't like about it. Don't like's not the right term. There are critiques I have about it. And I think the biggest one is that it really mostly feels like a setup to bring in Shooty. It really feels like a setup to bring in the 15th. And look, by generation, do I think it's a cop-out to keep Tennant around in case, they want to bring him back again? Absolutely it is. Regardless of that, is it that bad of a mechanic? The problem here is they don't explain anything about the myth of bi. They said it's a myth. It's not supposed to be real. Well, okay, but it is real now. So you have to go into more detail of how bi-generation actually works. And they just don't. They literally just shoehorn it in. It's not even, the bi-generation thing isn't even the problem. I don't care that this exists. I care that it's not explained in any real capacity. Don't get me wrong. It took us a long time to get real explanations on regeneration. But the fact is, you literally just introduced this new plot point of regeneration and with nothing. And spoilers, I do know about something else that happens in Shooty's here. Because again, the internet exists. I've been spoiled on a lot of Doctor Who. It's fine. It really doesn't actually hurt my enjoyment of it all that much. because even though I even said to my girlfriend, I know more about this era than you do. This is weird. Because she was the big Doctor Who fan. She was completely she was totally Doctor Who fan. So I had like seen a lot of stuff through clips and stuff like things along those lines. So a lot of the big reveals I wasn't that surprised about, but I'm still enjoying it. But yeah, I think that it really is the fact that the bi-generation I feel like is a lazy writing tool, simply just because there's no explanation on it right now. If we get some explanation down the road, we can have a different conversation about how lazy, whether it was lazy or not. But beyond that, it does feel like the first half is great because it's reestablishing the Doctor fighting his old enemy, the Toymaker. The second half is good, but it just feels like we're all just leading into shooting. That's all it is. We're leading into the 15th. And the fact that apparently, the Master who sealed in the Toymaker's gold tooth, that gets picked up. I know for a fact he doesn't show up in Ncuti's era, but it means the Master can come back. Woohoo! Yay! Wonderful! Rah rah! Rasputin. So there's that. I do like how it ends with Tennant just sitting around the picnic table with his adopted family. I like the fact that he just accepts. I have never been happier. Like I've been moving I've been moving from just forward this whole time. I finally get a chance to stop and appreciate the life I've been trying to, the lives I've been saving and the life I can make with it. I've never been happier. Like I really have liked that ending, and the fact that we got Wilford at the end of Blue Yonder and a little bit at the beginning here. That my girlfriend didn't know he was going to show up, and she just went, oh, because I mentioned that he passed away a little before these specials came out after shooting these. So the fact that he's able to have that one last bit, see David again, and that look, you can also too, it probably been a while since they saw each other. So it was just literally a reunion for those two. And they were just like, yeah, man, look, you can hate these specials, but that one moment, oh man, that one moment got in the feels, man. But that being said, I do like a lot of it, particularly the fact that Neil Patrick Harris is giving it his all, man. He is going all out on this, and it is just beautiful. Look, and he is that kind of actor who I think is actually kind of a perfect type of actor to play a character like this, the way it's depicted, too. Because he is goofy, but there is menace in him. There is just this, there's this just natural force of, you want to F? You want to play games? I love to play games. I thought I was clever. And then, of course, the puppet show just, and he loved Amy Pond. Yeah, he'd be liking the redheads. She's down in Malays. Well, that's all right then. And just, the mocking. If there's one thing, though, I will say to add on to my criticisms, it's the fact that for all the budget Disney Plus has, and this is where it means it feels like the special might be a little rushed, because for all the money that Disney has to put into these, there's only 2 games, and they're the most simplistic games you can have. Catch and highest card wins. Now I do get though that introducing a complicated game might start to confuse people a bit. Not confused, but maybe just not hold their attention as well. So I don't know. I suppose it's fine that they didn't have the most difficult of games brought to our screens. I also don't have a problem with the idea that the fate of the world hangs on Catch. I really don't have a problem with that, or some people do. But man, this guy is literally giving it his all, and and I mean, look, that the minute the music started and he came on screen, my girlfriend lost it. She lost it. She was just going, oh my God, this is amazing. Again, this man is giving it his 1000%. But beyond that, I actually like the fact that this is a different Toymaker than what we had in the original as well. The original was definitely kind of like a whimsical kind of, a being of, almost eldritch nature. And at least he comes from a place where games are, games are a thing. The rules of play. But this one, he definitely is, and I use this term, but I don't mean it because he's gay. But he's flamboyant. He's a showman. He wants people to watch him and wants people to be a part of the game. And I love that about him. And again, when the music started, it's oh my God. I'm just sitting there because I had seen the clip, God knows how many times. Man, I was just waiting the minute again. I just kind of looked at her and she was just grinning and just laughing. And it was so good. So look, there are definitely some issues. I even complained about more issues than I had with the Star Beast. But with that said, I think I still like this one more than the Star Beast. The Toymaker's the best of the three villains, at least in terms of like an actual bad guy. But obviously, coming in at number 1 is the Wild Blue Yonder. What everyone else says about this, I agree with. What makes this stand out the best is it's just a great Doctor Who adventure. Donna and the Doctor wind up somewhere. The TARDIS is gone temporarily, and they're stuck somewhere. So they explore and they find these not things. It's like, we are not things. You are things. And now they can copy and imitate. But it's like the thing. If the thing was failing to imitate perfectly, and like trying to evolve and learn, again, once again, these two, again, it's a big brother, a little sister relationship, and they are perfect together, these two. But beyond that, this is where I feel this and the Giggle is where I feel we actually do get a sense for this Doctor. We can in fact pinpoint how he is a little different than the 10th. The 10th still had a lot of his, and to be fair, 10th still got all the energy in the world for a guy. He's in his 50s, so he's not like old or anything like that. But compared to his 20 years earlier era, where he's like still very youthful, this is a tired Doctor. Despite his energy and his zesty lust for life, he is tired. He's the Doctor who's still running and is just not dealing. And you see that. You see him when he has the breakdowns. You see him when he's where he just looks run down. There's times where he looks just tired. But then there's other points where that Tennant charm comes back in and say, why did the airlock open? And what is that noise? And you just see Tennant, let me think. Think. And that goes to the not things. These guys, again, that's the scene right there. These things are terrifying in just concept alone. But then they also give you some great body horror imagery. Like, oh my God. Like, and some of these were practical effects. The dragging arms, if I remember correctly, were in fact practical effects. Then the jaw, the bending over, her turning into a puddle. These guys are frightening in many ways. And it is very much a horror. It is like The Thing meets aliens on a spaceship. And yeah, it's just, these things are very terrifying. And again, it's a great, if you didn't know what was happening before you watched the episode, why is the robot moving so slowly? What's it leaning towards? What's going on? And it all builds up to that great climax of them just, him and the not thing Tennant getting incinerated, him almost taking the wrong Donna. And then, yeah, it's, and then, ultimately, again, that end, seeing Wilfred, like, oh, man, that, again, in the feels, man, in the feels. But I digress. Ultimately, what really makes this the best one is just a great classic Doctor Who adventure again. And I think that's really what we kind of needed. So again, in this order, it's Star Beast, Giggle, and Wild Blue Yonder. Thank you for watching, though. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.